Voilà, donc une petite intervention pour Union for Free People.
Statement of the Belgian Yellow Vests for the Union of Free People. We do not pledge allegiance to anyone and remain a civil movement that dares to think openly and freely. We readily support everything that aligns with this spirit of freedom of thought. You can vehemently protest against the countless despicable acts that the supreme oppressors and abusers commit against us through successive laws, each of which is identical in its purest and most brutal form of abuse, under the guise of austerity policies. But as long as you only react to their discrimination, you will remain in a position of voluntary submission and obedience. This paragraph already says a lot. Therefore, simply condemning a certain scoundrel will not be enough. From economic crises to financial scandals, from political crises to social scandals, from environmental crises to betrayal at the expense of the people, from ideological crises to numerous betrayals of the ideal itself, a significant portion of the population suffers from various degrees of stigmatization, invisibility, discrimination, or simply oblivion, even isolation. How can one not be sensitive to this suicide process that stems from a cynical self-isolation that convinces some to be lazy, others to be unable to adapt, and in the middle to be deeply dependent on a system that lacks vision, solutions, and is riddled with endemic corruption and pathological deafness that borders on outright sociopathy? To restore dialogue not only with the working class, the middle class, and the entrepreneur, but also with the outcasts, the exiled, the marginalized, the enslaved, the dissidents, the poor, the toothless. The homosexuals are referenced to the Call-Out Manifesto, those who are considered extremists, populists, those who are accused of conspiracy theories, and those who are labeled as conspiracy theorists. On November 16th, 8 years ago, for the first time in the history of intersections, roundabouts were finally useful to allow Walter, who voted for the far right, and Rashid, who leaned towards the far left, to openly discuss their frustrations, suffering, and anger, looking each other in the eye, with tears of the same taste and blood of the same red color, like the scratches from carrying the pallets used to light the lighthouse at night. All the labels disappeared in an instant. People talked about their daily lives, and everyone shed the same salty tears, realizing that the scratches were healing with the same red blood. For a magical moment, people came together. They talked and sometimes argued, but in doing so, they momentarily overcame their differences and became a people of all kinds. First basic principle: we will not impose right or left. This does not mean to renounce belonging to a party, but rather to overcome divisions. We have chosen benevolent neutrality for the common good, to maintain an open dialogue between all. The movement has declared itself non-partisan, not accountable to anyone, and especially not to the political world. Second main principle: the absence of a leader. Frustrated by the betrayal of pseudo-elites who only perpetuate themselves without solving any of the crises they use to present themselves as saviors, the Yellow Vests reject leadership. Every citizen deserves another citizen. Third main principle: I'm tired of experts. You are the experts of your own life. When the wallet is empty, the refrigerator, the oil tank, the disconnected electricity meter, the water leak, the little girl's school bag for the start of the school year, the money to pay for the education of an older child who wanted to go to university, but had to work at McDonald's or Uber to pay for student housing, or, even worse, some resorted to prostitution, and you're left to fend for yourself in these situations. Well, you are the experts of your own life. You are collectively and democratically capable of deciding what is good for you and what is not. Common sense. Fourth fundamental principle: direct democracy at all levels, within the strict framework of human rights. Stop the smokescreens, stop pitting everyone against each other. Democracy is the goal. Let's achieve it. Let's strive for harmony, and it will be contagious. Referendum on civil initiative is a mandatory system of referendums, not just an advisory one. It will have the force of law. It will be used for the development of a new constitution through a constituent process confirmed by this mandatory referendum. The transition to a system of civil chambers, where citizens will be selected by lot and sociological quotas proportional to their social class. This chamber will become a legislative body where proposals will be discussed by committees that have prepared real efforts to restore popular sovereignty. The implementation or rejection of decisions by the legislative chamber will always be subject to approval by the entire population through a referendum. Civil society, on the other hand, can act as an alternative to the representative system to prevent corruption, lobbying, and, above all, career-driven politics. All controversial issues will be automatically put to a referendum on recall repeal of a law or mandate. Based on a petition, the people can initiate a referendum at any time, allowing them to recall a member of parliament appointed to a mandate, repeal a law or decision that disregards the public good, to pass a law or make a decision in favor of the public good legislative referendum. A short-term, binding and revocable mandate ensures the end of nepotism and political dynasties, makes political parties obsolete, and guarantees the elimination of the influence of lobbyists and corruption, transparency of public accounts and public affairs, directly and online. Moreover, we must fight against the impending techno-fascism, which is spreading and plundering, and the war that inevitably results from it. Who wants war? No one. No mother or father wants to see their son kill or die. Therefore, no one is interested in war. And yet, it is everywhere and constant. This means that the decisions about wars are not made by these ordinary people that I have just mentioned. Of course, this is all just talk, but we have already crossed the line of empty words. Actions, the opposition to the people, that is, those in power, are putting forward completely disastrous proposals. I am now talking about the example of Germany. A law has just been revived and strengthened, according to which no German man can travel abroad for more than 3 months without the permission of the Ministry of War, which is more prosaically called the Ministry of Defense. Just imagine. This means that they consider men to be subject to military conscription in the event of a war, which is decided by no one in particular, and this is simply the end of freedom of movement, freedom of travel, and therefore conscription, regardless of our opinion. So, let's imagine that we would vote for someone we don't know, who would form a coalition with someone we don't know, and these people would decide to start a war against Luxembourg, Russia, Togo, or some Pierre, Paul, or Jacques, and we would foolishly go out and get killed. Seriously, it's absurd. What person on earth could possibly approve of this, knowing the history, the shame, the foolishness, and the horror of the situation? No, we disagree. Enough is enough. So, the citizens of the world, forgive me for being pretentious, who are gathered here in my words at this very moment, are saying, enough, go to hell, no, let's do this without us. The citizens of the world refuse to go to war, fight in it, or suffer from it. Therefore, I do not know who made this decision in Germany, but I would like to know their names, as moral condemnation and shame will befall them for thousands of years. We must publish the names of those who have dared to say such things, who are beginning to consider war as a possibility, even though we all know that it is a monster, something that should never be allowed to cross the line. So, to be more precise, these people have decided that every individual must now submit their freedom of movement to the whims of the Ministry of War. Is this a joke? It's 2026 in Germany. Therefore, the answer is no. Demonstrations are already taking place. It's a modest beginning, but it's crucial for fathers, and I speak on behalf of my category, but also for mothers and everyone else, to strongly oppose this. It's very, very important. Realize this. We used to say, yes, but as long as I'm doing well, I can go to McDonald's, the movies, I have a job, a wife, I don't care, I'm fine. There's death all over the place, and we don't care. Well, listen, those of you who do care, this is happening to you right now. People are suffering, and so are you. So if you've been standing on the sidelines, thinking, yes, let's see, as long as it's other people, I don't care, but now it's not like that. Now you can take action. Nothing and no one will save you from the sea surrounding you, except for yourself. The time to say the activists will do their job is over. Now, if each of you doesn't do anything, we're in serious trouble. So, to be specific, Germany has just enacted this law. It existed, but for a long time, it remained more theoretical than practical. Now, it's concrete and on everyone's mind. No German male citizen can leave the country for longer than the Ministry of War deems necessary. This is the first concrete step towards mobilization, if anyone decides to start it. It's crucial to act now, because the more time passes, the harder it becomes to fight. When you're in a totalitarian regime, you have to fight. It is now, when they are modestly trying to carry this out, pretending to be cunning, that we must react. This is a call to all Germans, all Europeans, and the whole world to react now. They are establishing authoritarian systems that led to dictatorship everywhere, for everyone, including you who are listening to me now. You must definitely react to this. This is a call to action. The peoples of the world reject war. They do not want war. Otherwise, we condemn ourselves to be the worst of people if we decide the opposite. Naturally, you have neither our consent nor our support. And, in fact, you are the worst people possible. People who promote war, knowing that it is nothing but theft, robbery, rape, murder, and dishonor. It is the most terrible thing that can exist. So you, the people who walk around saying, yes, war, 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 you are fools and idiots. You do not represent humanity. Humanity is the complete opposite of you. You are few, you are very few, and you are incredibly mediocre and corrupt. And we do not consider ourselves to be your subjects. We don't consider ourselves to be the ones who will follow your decisions. That's all. No one wants war. We don't want it, and we won't fight it. That's all. This is not a request. It's a prediction. It's an order that I am giving you. The people won't go to war, understand? Is it clear? And if it's not clear, we will come and tell you more precisely, right in your ear. We will whisper it in your ear. But be careful, because when the people rise up because of these moments, beware. You won't be able to hide behind any tree. Look at Gaddafi. The list of such cases is long, so be very careful. Louis XVI, the 1,000-year absolutism of the great kings. You've seen how he ended, haven't you? Study this history carefully. Don't send our children to war, you scoundrels. Don't send our children to war. Understand?